Games, comics, anime. Codenamed Epic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Codename Epic's Off Topic. I'm your host, Black Superman.
This is Kerbykidd.
And I'm Turnbow.
And today we're going to talk to Mr. Turnbow, the owner, the operator, and the proprietor of Krypton Radio.
Yeah,
So, tell us a little bit about the radio station.
Well, let's see. The radio station started in 2009. It began as a website for a group in the online MMO called Second Life. Well, the group isn't called that. The group is called Justice League Unlimited, and we needed a website of our own, for the people who liked what we do to find out what we were doing. And it gradually evolved into a real news source and a radio station over the space of about 3 years. And at this point, I think we're in the top, the last time I checked, we're in the top 8% of the internet according to Alexa.com. And we have thousands of listeners all over the world.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So, what kind of things do you have on the radio station?
Well, the radio, it's actually kind of a strange beast. It's got two parts to it. It's got a website, which is like a news site for fans of comic books and steampunk and heroism in real life and science fiction and things that go boom.
Things that go boom.
And then the other part of it is the radio station itself, which is a 24-hour radio stream. Most science fiction and comic book shows are podcasts or video casts, video blogs, this kind of thing. But Krypton Radio is one of the few that broadcasts 24 hours a day around the clock, and we have been on air continuously without stopping since 2009.
Awesome. That's really cool. Now, what kind of, do you have any specific shows that you have on the station?
Well, most of the time we play a pretty eclectic mix of music. I mean, you'd tune in and you'd hear something from Hunger Games, and then a theme from a 1960s Batman show, or a song about Aquaman. There are 5 songs about. There are lots of songs about Superman, and there are lots of artists that do various songs about Superman or do covers of TV shows, this kind of thing. There are 5 songs about Aquaman.
I'm surprised you got one.
I'm surprised we got one too, but there are 5 of them.
Wow.
Of course, I can't think of one of them that doesn't cast Aquaman in the role of being a douchebag. He's kind of, as superheroes go, I'm sorry, he's a douche.
Yeah. I'm strong in the water. They've done so much to revamp his image.
They have.
Here's a hook hand, and you can do your stuff outside the water too.
Who's the guy who's been doing him? Who was doing him on Batman: Brave and the Bold? His name was DiMaggio.
Okay.
Was it John DiMaggio?
I forget.
It wasn't Joe. I know that. I think it was John DiMaggio. I think. If somebody sees this, correct me. Write us, send nasty letters. But he sort of revived and revitalized the character because he portrayed him as the stentorian idiot. He's still a douche, right. But he's a likable douche now.
Yeah, and he's semi-useful.
And he's a brilliant singer, and we've got some of his songs on Krypton Radio.
Aquaman or John DiMaggio?
John DiMaggio as Aquaman. John DiMaggio as Aquaman singing Aquaman's rousing song of heroism.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's on Krypton Radio. We have that one. Right. And let's see, the rest of the time we have shows like Libya El Amin's TV Campfire, which discusses what's been on that week, and it's like for fans of. They're very Joss Whedon oriented, so it's the Buffyverse and Stargate and whatever else has been on that week that catches people's attention, Fringe, and
Right.
just whatever's been on, you know. And then there is a great show called Stolen Droids, and they are those guys are some hot shots, and we found them. They're on a Trek radio, and we invited them to join us, and they jumped at the chance. And we've also got Fanboy Scoop, fanboycomics.net. And they do a weekly show, mostly about comic books, and they have their own perspective. But they're also publishers, and so they have, and they're into popular media in general. So they're a little bit diluted, but not diluted, but diluted. So they have their own unique viewpoint, and they have different guests and interview people, but they don't have the same perspective and energy that you guys have. It's different. It's a different chemistry.
Right.
So currently we've got 3 shows on the air, and is this the right time to announce it?
Yeah.
Go ahead. This would be a perfect time to
announce it. Yeah. So we have an announcement to make. Starting in June of this year, Codenamed Epic shows Off Topic, D-Pad, and the Antiholic Time Chamber will also be premiering in a much longer, more awesome version on Krypton Radio. So you can look forward to seeing us here on YouTube, but also on Krypton.
And the beginning air times that you should be listening for on Krypton Radio for these 3 shows is, we're going to be starting them on
Friday, June 1st.
Friday, June 1st. So stay tuned to Krypton Radio, and we'll let you know when these shows are coming up. And look for us to post notices on the website and in our Facebook page as well. We'll be announcing it. And keep it tuned to Krypton Radio. Look to the skies and enjoy the tunes there.
Yep. And everyone here at Conan Epic is really excited to be partnering with this.
Especially considering he's a big Superman fan.
Oh, huge Superman fan.
I have decided to overlook that flaw that it's about Superman.
Especially considering that on the 74th anniversary of the appearance of the man that we get to announce.
Krypton.
Yes, Krypton.
Let's hope it doesn't
Radio.
blow up this time.
This is the 74th. You're right. This is the 74th anniversary of the first appearance of Superman in Action Comics #1, and unfortunately, that's been marred by some legal action. We were talking about it a little bit earlier before the show. The DC Comics and the estates of Joe Shuster and
Siegel.
Yes, Jerry Siegel. Thank you. Are in combat with DC Comics. They're trying to get full rights of Superman back under their control because at the moment they have the origin story and some of Superman's powers, and DC Comics has things like his vulnerability to kryptonite. They own Lex Luthor. The Siegels and Schusters didn't invent him, so they don't own him. So the story is sort of split in half, and you can't tell the story of Superman
without
all the parts. Right. I mean, DC owns the heat vision and the telescopic vision and the super breath, and it's almost impossible to tell the origin story without these superpowers.
So let's say if DC strips all the stuff that they own away, that makes them a really easy target for, let's say, the Hulk. Just walk up and just go stop it.
Actually, no, because he'd still be really, really strong and invulnerable.
Yeah.
But he loses.
Nearly invulnerable. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Invulnerable,
but so's the Hulk.
I mean, the Hulk is.
The Hulk's not exactly invulnerable either. I mean, some adamantium claws with a guy who's about as strong as Spider-Man can cut him.
Yeah, but he heals back because he's incredible. You know,
right? He is. But here's the stupid thing about what's going on. There's this guy named Mark Toberoff, who is the attorney for the estates of Siegel and Schuster, and he had outlined a written plan to take Superman away from them, and one of the people that worked in his office stole the papers, that outlined that plan and gave them to DC Comics. So Toberoff went to the Los Angeles district attorney and said, look, this stuff has been stolen from me. I need you guys to investigate the theft. So he showed them the material. Well, unfortunately, that material was also part of the client confidentiality agreement that he had with Siegel and Schuster, which he just violated. And so now he's under investigation for trying to hijack the entire Superman empire. At the same time, he has a joint. He's formed a joint venture with Siegel and Schuster's heirs to manage the property, because he said he could get another Superman film made, which obviously that's happening. But he is not only the business manager for that; he's also the legal advisor for that joint partnership. And I don't know. This just seems wrong to me. It's like being your own surgeon.
Yeah.
You know, doing a hemorrhoid transplant.
And like, see, I didn't know that different
on
parts
yourself
of the story were owned by different people.
From one side to the other.
Right. But that's weird.
Yeah, it's owned by different people,
Yeah.
and they've been fighting over it for years. And it's frankly amazing that Man of Steel, which I think comes out next 2013.
Yeah, 2013. I think June.
In June 2013.
They were trying to get it for December of this
In
year.
the month that I'm born, really? A Superman movie in my month?
Don't you feel
Well,
blessed?
and part of the reason it's taking
Right.
so long is because when they started, they had to get it. They had to get the whole thing going by September 13th, I think, of last year, before the option ran out. So they started shooting before they had a finished script, and that's never a good sign.
And basically, I mean, with hearing all this, it looks like we're never going to get a League movie. Because if people own different aspects of individual characters, how are we going to put them all in the same group?
I cannot. I've been hearing about that, and there was a Justice League movie, but actually, I preferred it.
It's like the first Hulk movie. We don't talk about it.
I've seen the script, or parts of the script online for the Justice League movie that got canceled about 2 years ago. And we're really happy that movie wasn't made.
Never made?
We're really, really happy that movie was never made.
So are these pages the kind of script pages where you can smell them before you can read them?
He's like, this is not going to happen. But I mean, yeah, there's a world of legal issues in comic books because everyone owns a different part of everything.
Well, and people are fighting over who made what first.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel is now known as Shazam. They officially changed the name to Shazam.
Right.
Well, that's great, except how are you going to change like 50 years of racial memory?
Right, exactly.
Where everybody's burned in on this guy as being Captain Marvel. How are you going to fix that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the fact that Sony wants to hold on to Spider-Man, because if they lost the rights to Spider-Man, on every PlayStation 3 product, they'd have to either change the font or pay up to Disney, because the font that's on the PS3 and all the products is Spider-Man font.
Wow.
It comes down to even fonts now.
Fonts.
Even fonts. I mean, that's why they're.
I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
that's why they're rebooting the Spider-Man franchise, because they have to make a new Spider-Man movie every so often, or they lose the rights. That was a deal that Marvel made back before they had Marvel Studios.
Have you seen the trailers?
It looks okay. I like it. It's
actually.
better. It's better than the last Spider-Man.
With Toby Hooper. It's better than Toby Hooper's. I think Andrew. God, I'm forgetting everything. The guy who's playing Spider-Man. He was in the Social. He played in the Social Network.
Oh, okay.
Andrew.
Starts with a G.
We'll just call him Peter Parker.
Yeah, okay, Peter Parker. I feel like an idiot. This is what happens when you don't research your material before you go in front of the camera. His performance is much closer to the wisecracking, semi-jerk
Right. I'm trying to,
Instead of the
Peter Parker
emo
was.
that-
Instead of the emo kid that
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire was the emo kid.
I'm gonna have to get used to the web shooters. I know that's part of his origin, but I've never liked the web. I like the version of Spider-Man where the webs are part of him.
Yeah, but from a biological standpoint,
It wouldn't
from
work.
the wrists,
They'd become
I'm
so
sorry,
spread.
Yeah, it wouldn't
they'd be
work.
coming out of his ass.
Right. It was weird.
There is a wonderful webcomic, by the way, called Spinneret, which is sort of a spoof on the Spider-Man story, in which she is bitten by a radioactive spider. It's a girl, but the webs actually do come out of her backside, and she has to have a special hole in the back of the suit for the
Yeah,
webs to come out.
maybe web shooters are a little better.
Yeah,
I do find it funny
web shooters are a little better.
when he shoots up and he runs out. He's like, oh, this is gonna hurt. You know?
Yes, I remember reading the Spider-Man comics in the '60s.
Right.
Back when they were still 12 cents, and I wish I had some of those that I used to have. And him running out of web fluid was a major plot point. It got him into trouble a lot of times,
Right.
because you only can fit so much in that
That little
canister.
can.
And then the Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s, it happened a lot too. Actually, the
Yeah.
Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s made absolutely no
It
sense.
happens almost as much as Cap's shield, the unbreakable shield breaking
Constantly?
all the time.
Yeah.
But
Well, they did those cell frames, and it broke into 3 pieces, and it took so much effort to draw 3 pieces that they reused them episode after episode.
But
So-
true to our name, we have gone completely off topic for the last however long it's
going
been.
going back to Krypton Radio, we're not just a radio station. We're also a news site. We just had one article about a marvelous article about a 7-year-old boy with leukemia who wanted to be Batman. That was his wish. And the city of Arlington, Virginia, found a way to make it happen. And he fought the Joker and the Riddler and rode in the Batmobile and fought crime all day. And
That's
at the end of the
cool.
day, he was given the key to the city. And that article went viral. And we had more traffic in one day than we usually get in a month. And our
Right.
server took one look at the traffic and went
It's like no.
repeatedly. It's like
Right.
down, bam, 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 and it took me 4 hours to figure out how to get the server stable enough so that it could stand up to the onslaught.
Right.
But so we're a news site, and we were quoted in the Huffington Post.
Right.
We were quoted on Jezebel.com. And what we try to do in the pages of Krypton Radio, and actually some of the audio stream as well, is we try to pay attention to new talent, and we help independent comic book artists. We try and help them get some exposure and get noticed
Right.
for their work. And we help independent makers of fan music. They do filk covers, filk songs, and we give them the exposure that they need. One of the interesting things that happened is one of our featured artists. Oh, I don't want to talk about this before I have to look her up.
Well, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
on
we'll talk
a
about
future
that on
video.
another show.
Yeah.
I'd like to. There is an artist.
That's her, Karuna Tanahashi.
And she is also a filmmaker. She's also a fire dancer, paradoxically. I don't see where those fit together. But she's a filmmaker, and one of her short films just got accepted at the Cannes Film Festival.
That's cool.
Sweet.
We found her.
Right.
So
Well,
we're quite excited.
yeah.
And I'm hoping maybe that I can get her in as a guest for you guys maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe can we get her to fire dance?
That's a possibility.
Not
That's
in
a
the cave.
Not in here.
Not the
Okay,
bat
so-
cave here, but
Set
like
the
outside
Next to the
on
pool?
fire.
near water. Yeah, we have water out there.
Yeah, you might be able to convince her to do that. I understand she's very good at it. But she just got accepted to Cannes Film,
That's cool.
and we are excited as heck. And
On the note of dangerous fire dancing, that's been our special awesome episode of Off Topic. Look forward to seeing us on Krypton Radio in June. Sorry, we went completely off topic,
June
but
fir-
June
yes,
1st.
June
But you knew what you were
1st,
getting.
Krypton Radio.
So, thanks for listening. This has been Kerbykidd.
This is Black Superman.
And I'm Gene Turnbow.
Thanks for watching, guys.